Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Each of you here today and all of our law enforcement officers across the nation dedicate your lives and their lives to the precept which undergirds our country, and that is respect for and adherence to the rule of law. And I know every member, not only of the subcommittee, but every member of Congress would have their own personal story about how officers have impacted their lives and would have their own personal testimony to the respect that they have for the women and men of law enforcement. I know as I was preparing for this hearing, my mind went to an officer in Greenville, South Carolina, by the name of Alan Jacobs. Alan, about this time last year, maybe a little bit more than a year ago, learned that he was going to be a father again. But this time it was going to be different. He had two boys, and this time he was going to be the father of a little girl. And life had prepared Alan very well to be a father. He was an outstanding student. He was a great athlete in Greenville, South Carolina. He put that athleticism and intelligence to work for our country in the United States Army. He was deployed to Iraq for 15 months and even volunteered to live in the neighborhoods of Baghdad because he understood that all people want to live in a peaceful, secure environment. And after Iraq, Alan was deployed to Haiti because he wanted to help the Haitian people in the aftermath of their tragic earthquake. But the tug of fatherhood is strong. And it's so strong that Alan decided to return to the upstate of South Carolina. But his desire to serve and protect remained. So he left the uniform of the United States Army and he put on the uniform of the Greenville City Police Department. And he pursued that calling with the same vigor and the same strength and the same professionalism that epitomized every other facet of his life. Whether it was service on the SWAT team, whether the cops on the court, as a patrol officer, for schools or for a gang resistance team, Alan would stop his patrol car from time to time, carried a basketball in the trunk, just to get out and shoot basketball with the kids that could use a father figure like the one that he was providing to his own boys and would provide to his daughter. I learned all of this about Alan in a telephone call that I had with his mother 2 days before his funeral. This man that survived Iraq and Haiti and boot camp and police officer training could not and did not survive an encounter with a teenage gang member who had just been released from jail. Never even had a chance to unholster a service weapon. Serve, defend, protect. He was ambushed. His funeral gave all of us in South Carolina an opportunity to reflect not only on his life, but Chief Thompson, the life of Jason Harris, who we just lost in your own department, responding to a call for backup from one of his fellow officers, or Russ Sorrow, or Kevin Carper, or Marcus Whitfield, or Eric Nicholson, or any of the officers in the upstate of South Carolina who gave the most precious thing they had so they could protect the most precious thing we have, which is life. Law enforcement officers are willing to do what most of us are not willing to do, and they're willing to interact with people that most of us are not willing to interact with, and they are willing to miss things in life that most of us are not willing to miss. So today we're not only here to honor you, but we're here to listen, and we're here in part to memorialize those officers who lost their lives in the line of duty, but also to respect and pay honor to those that are still with us. So I want to thank you for being here, and I am most interested in how we can help you through your jobs. There are challenges in our criminal justice system. I want a system that is not only respected, but worthy of respect. And there's not a system we have in our country that can't be improved. And I am more than willing to hear ideas on how to improve it. But there is something different about law enforcement officers. And if we lose that sight of that as a society, that not only do they wear a uniform and a badge, but they serve symbolically as a line between law and order and those folks that are not of good conscience. If we ever lose sight of that, we're in trouble as a republic.
States have refused Trump Commission's demand for personal info on voters. Following a White House Commission's request that states turn over voters' full names, addresses, dates of birth, political parties, social security digits, and other personal data, dozens of U.S. states have registered their on-the-record objections. CNN reported Tuesday that 44 states have now refused a request by the Trump administration to provide certain information about registered voters, ranging from their criminal records to time spent abroad. A CNN inquiry into all 50 U.S. states found that state leaders and voting officials across the country have been fairly quick to respond to the request for voter data, sent last Wednesday by the Presidential Advisory Commission on Election Integrity and, in most cases, to reject it. Kansas Secretary of State Chris Kobach, vice chairman of the commission, sent the letter as part of the commission's efforts to investigate the possibility of voter fraud and various machinations, as per the presidential executive order that created the group in May. As PBS explained, Trump has claimed without evidence since winning November's election that it was rigged, either by voter impersonation or illegal ballots cast by undocumented immigrants. Trump swept the Electoral College in November's election, but was nearly 3 million votes shy of former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton in the popular vote. Kobach has emphasized, however, that his commission's goal is in no way to validate or specifically nurture the president's claims. See also, GOP contractor accidentally exposes personal info of almost 200 million voters. The requested information includes registered voters' full names, addresses, birth dates, political parties, a list of the elections they've voted in since 2006, whether they've registered to vote in other states, their military status, info on any felony convictions, whether they've lived overseas, and the last 4 digits of their social security numbers. Kobach stated twice in the letter that only public information was being requested, and reiterated Friday, every state receives the same letter, but we're not asking for it if it's not publicly available, CNN reported. Numerous states have already responded that they can't provide the social security numbers, in the very least, while others objected to the commission's request that states surrender this information through an online portal. On Twitter, President Trump chided an unspecified number of state elected officials and/or governments, writing Saturday, numerous states are refusing to give information to the very distinguished voter fraud panel. What are they trying to hide? According to CNN, 19 states have openly criticized the request, which would require states to figure out how to comply as permitted by their respective laws in addition to rounding up and delivering all that data. Louisiana Secretary of State Tom Shedler, a Republican, told CNN Monday, the President's Commission has quickly politicized its work by asking states for an incredible amount of voter data that I have, time and time again, refused to release. My response to the Commission is, you're not going to play politics with Louisiana's voter data, and if you are, then you can purchase the limited public information available by law to any candidate running for office. That's it. Florida and Nebraska are reportedly still reviewing the request as of Tuesday afternoon, while Hawaii, which just woke up, and New Jersey haven't responded to CNN's request for a comment. 6 more states are still waiting on the Commission's letter, but New Mexico, Michigan, South Carolina and West Virginia among them have already pledged not to provide voters private information, according to CNN. Colorado, Missouri, and Tennessee, meanwhile, have respectively commended Kobach's work in statements. Whatever the final outcome of the Commission's request, the Republican Party apparently has a widely sourced load of information on nearly 200 million U.S. voters already, as does anyone else who downloaded the unprotected cache for company, at least.